Hello everybody and welcome to my first video of this channel. My name is Christian and today we're going to be taking a look at part one of my buyer's guide for a used GPU heading into the first quarter of 2026. In this video, we are going to be focusing on graphics cards that are $100 to $50 or less, some with modern driver support, others without, but those ones without will be coming at a great price. So if you're looking for a graphics card in that range, if you're upgrading a current build or maybe even building your first system ever, these could be some great options for you. All of the graphics cards that I'm going to be looking at today do not have ray tracing support. So if that is something that you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe because in part two, I'm going to be releasing a video taking a look at AMD's RX 6000 series and above, as well as the NVIDIA RTX 2000 series and above. But with that being said, I'm just going to talk about myself a little bit real quick since this is the first time we're meeting. As I said, my name is Christian. I've been building computers for about 12 years and the computer hardware market is heading in a similar direction that we saw about 5 years ago, which can be pretty scary for a lot of people. This is going to be a pretty low edit video as well, just because I do need to get this out as soon as possible so that you guys can take advantage of these deals. So with that being said, I'm not even going to waste any more time. Let's go ahead and hop on in here. The first graphics card I'm going to suggest, and this is going to be the most expensive offering on the NVIDIA side that I'll be talking about today, is going to be the 1660 series, both the base 1660, the TIs, and the Supers. Now, as you can see, prices are already starting to jump up from the time that I was looking at these graphics cards. When I was originally writing for this video, you could find a 1660 Super or TI pretty regularly between $90 to $100. It's definitely creeped up. I mean, you can see these listings here. I mean, this one's never going to sell at that price, but yeah, some outrageous prices already going on. But just because you see those doesn't mean you should be paying those price. There are going to be better offers. For instance, this one here, there's no shipping. It's only $93, and it's the 1660 base model. Now, that is a bit more than I would want to pay for this graphics card. I'd prefer to keep it to $80 or less, but as you can see, they do accept offers. So the chance that I could offer and get it for that price is still there. Another one here for about $100 after shipping. We've got a 1660 Ti model for $100 flat. Keep in mind this is an HP, so it is an OEM. Sometimes you'll see graphics cards be cut back a bit when they are an OEM model, but I do think that this is probably one of the better prices you will find for the 1660 Ti. So it can be up to you. There's a 1660 Super here. 105, no shipping, again, best offer. These kind of deals probably won't be lasting too long. So if you're looking for an NVIDIA graphics card with modern drivers for $150 or less, this is probably going to be your best option. If we drop down to like the 1650 Super and the 1650 non-Super, I've been seeing those for about $70 to $80, and that's about what I'd be paying for a 1660 base model. So I would say for now, go ahead and avoid the 1650s, unless you could find them for something closer to like $50 or less. That would be the price that I would be looking at them for. But for now, the 1660s for anywhere between $80 to $100 could be a good option for you. Now, if you're more interested in AMD rather than NVIDIA, we're going to be taking a look at the RX 5700 XT model. These are going for, let's see, about $145 after shipping. This one's $140. That's about what I was seeing previously. About $130 to $150 is what I saw about 10 days ago when I was originally doing the price scouring that I did. This one here is $140 or best offer. Perhaps you could come in with an offer of say $125, $130 and walk away with a great graphics card. Now, even though this is probably the best price to performance AMD card that you can get with modern drivers, it does not offer ray tracing support. And with the AMD RX 6000 series, there's a graphics card that is from that generation that I'll be talking about in part 2 that comes in at a very, very similar price point. It doesn't quite have the same power as the 5700 XT. So if you're playing games with ray tracing, you probably would want to go with the AMD RX 6000 series or newer, or the RTX 2000 series or newer. But if ray tracing is not something you're interested in, you're not playing too many games from Unreal Engine 5 that have Lumen and other things baked into it, this card could be great for you. I actually have a similar card here. It is an OEM version of the 5700 non-XT. I did overpay, in my opinion, a little bit for this card. It was just shy of $102 after tax and shipping. I would much rather have this card closer to like 90, 95. Of course, I'm just sweating a few bucks, but I do kind of sell these, and this is how I make some of my money. So I do want to make sure I'm getting the best deal. But again, you can find the 5700 non-XT for about $100. I would still recommend going with the XT version just because of how strong it is. But yeah, for about 125 to 150 bucks, you really can't go wrong with this card. The next graphics card I thought I was going to be recommending today was actually going to be the 1080. Now, you can see the 1080 coming in at about $100 here. And sometimes you'll be able to find a 1080 Ti for like about 120, 130. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. It doesn't have modern driver support anymore. I believe that it received an update about 2 weeks ago, right at the start of December, and that will be the last game-ready driver. So this card has kind of hit its peak. It's about as good as it will get. The price to performance of this thing is still pretty beastly, but again, as time goes on, this is going to be a less and less viable card long term for you, which is why I really recommend those first two cards we were looking at. And just for the record, I do think $100 is a pretty fair price for the 1080. So if you are looking to play games, that released 2025, preferably earlier, this could be a good graphics card for you. But if there's modern titles that are on the horizon that you're looking forward to playing, I would probably just go with the 1660. Make sure that you've got that driver support, so when the drivers for that game do release, you're actually able to play it properly. I don't think I've seen a 1080 Ti yet in this listing as well. Here's 1080, doesn't say Ti, 11 gigabytes. Here it says Ti though. Make sure you always know exactly what you're buying, by the way. Sometimes on the back of a graphics card, it'll actually say what it is. Sometimes it'll even be branded directly into the card itself, like this one right here, GTX 1080. So just make sure you're not getting scammed or purchasing the wrong thing on accident. But yeah, the 1080s, 1080 Ti's, beastly performance for what you're paying. But again, over time, you're going to start to see this slowly dwindle, and it's not going to hold its value quite as well as the 1660 or 5700 XT. The GTX 10 or 1000 series card that I do actually want to talk about today is going to be the GTX 1060. I think that this is a pretty common card. I've got one right here in front of me. Actually, I've got a nice little Zotac model, only requires a 6-pin connector. So if you've got a power supply that has external power, these are pretty sweet. Typically, I was seeing these for about $50 to $60. I do think it is starting to creep up a bit. We do see this one here for $63 or best offer, no shipping. It is a Dell OEM model, so I would probably want to be paying closer to that $50 range for an OEM, but the deals I was seeing do still exist. You just got to be really on top of them and take into consideration that there will be additional costs for delivery, taxes, whatever, you name it. But for 50 to 60 bucks, this is a pretty sweet card. This was often the targeted minimum requirement GPU. in a lot of games in 2024 and 2025. Now that there is no graphic support going forward for this card, we're probably going to see that title shift over to something like the 1660 series, or maybe even the 2060s. But in recent history, this was a graphics card that would at least get you in the door and allow you to play modern titles. So if you are under that $70, $75 range and you're looking for something closer to 50 to 60, make sure that you're taking a look at the GTX 1060s. Great little cards. This one here is $45, but I did see this here. It is a 3 GB model. So we don't want to be buying the 3 GB model, and I thought I already did this actually. Yeah, the memory size I have selected here as a 6 gig. So even if you've done your due diligence to make sure you are setting up your filters properly, sometimes things will sneak through, so just be wary of that. This is not a card that I would pay $55 for. In fact, I would, if you're buying a 3 gig model, which I don't personally recommend, you're definitely going to want to be paying probably closer to a maximum of $40 to $45. But yeah, let me just go through here, see if I can find another good deal. Let's see, so 68 again. It looks like these are getting closer to that $70 range, which is a bit unfortunate to be seeing so quickly. But there are still offers, or not offers, but still listings available in the range that I was seeing, especially if you go for the ones that have offers. We're just going to take a look at the completed just to see what other people are paying. For instance, today we saw one go for $55, good price. This one started off at $60 before shipping, and it looks like they accepted less. Another for $60 that was accepted for less. So these do definitely exist. Go ahead and make sure you're putting the offers out there, unless there's just a flat out good deal that you can't skip up. With the series before this, the GTX 900 series, the model I actually thought I was going to be suggesting to you guys was going to be the 970. A lot of you guys are probably really familiar with this card. The 970 was a beast for so long, and it can still get up in boogie when you upscale with it. But yeah, I was seeing this card for about $40 to $50, and I do think that's a pretty good price to pay. Taking a look at these listings today, it does look like we're looking closer to that $60 range. But this one here, you can see, is a 970 with $40 or best offer. That's pretty crazy. I actually want to take a look at this one real quick. There's got to be something wrong with this if they're accepting offers for below 40, right? Yeah, it looks like this person is claiming that it's perfect condition, so that's pretty interesting. This could be a great card. Getting back to the other listings, right below it, I mean, we're already looking at another one for $40. So yeah, you can pick one of these up for 40, 45 pretty quickly, but I'm actually going to recommend a different graphics card from the 900 series. I'm shocked to say that the GTX 980 is going for about $60 or less. I'm seeing it for $50 pretty commonly too, which is awesome. This one here, that's about $47, no shipping. They're accepting offers. This one is $50 accepting offers with about $12 of shipping. So if you can find yourself a GTX 980 for about $50, this could be a really good graphics card for you. It does suck a little more power than I would like it to. So do keep that in mind. If you're trying to keep your power bill low, this might not be the best card for you, but this thing is still pretty awesome. The video RAM with the card as well is a true 4 gig, which the 970 is not. It is 3.5-ish, we'll just call it. So when it comes to price to performance, I mean, if you can buy a 980 for, $5 to $15 more than the 970, I would say go for it. I think that that's a great price, and I would maybe even recommend the 980 over the 1060. It just really depends on if you want 6 gigs of memory or if you want 4. So, whichever one you end up settling on, I think both could be a great card for you at this price point. And that's actually going to conclude my recommendations. I was really hoping to find something from the RX 400 or 500 series, but these prices are just not something I'd be interested in. Driver support for these cards ended a couple of years ago, and the 8 gig models definitely way surpass the 4 gig models. So I don't know. Like this one here is probably the best one I've scrolled by so far. Let's see, Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying $55 for a 480 when I could pick up a 980 for less, and get more power out of it. It just doesn't make any sense. So I would say for now, at least for the time being, things could get worse to the point where I am suggesting one of these cards to you. But I think really the ones you should be looking at are the 1660 series, the 5700 XTs, the 1060, the GTX 970, and the 980. That's going to conclude it for today. Again, if you have made it to this point in the video, I will be releasing part 2 where we talk about more modern graphics cards. And there's some really awesome offerings up in those cards as well. So if you have interest in one of those graphics cards, again, make sure you subscribe because I will be releasing that video as soon as possible to make sure that you can get one of these graphics cards before the market goes kaboom. As we round out this video, I have just a couple more things I wanted to talk about. Before you purchase your graphics card, if it's one that you haven't seen too much about or haven't had yourself in the past for some reason, make sure you know exactly what it's capable of. Go ahead and hop over to YouTube, look at some gaming benchmarks of the games that you intend to play with that graphics card, just so that way you can ensure that the price that you're paying as well as the performance you are getting out of it is something that you are comfortable with and meets your personal expectations. The last thing I would want is for you to the last thing I'd want is for you to get a graphics card based off of my recommendation without looking at what it is actually capable of. Just because I say that a 980 for $50 is a great deal doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be able to play all of the titles that you would like it to. So again, just make sure you guys do your research and that the card that you're buying is actually going to be able to live up to your expectations. With that being said, let me know any deals you found recently, as well as if you have any other questions or if there's a graphics card I didn't cover today that's below $150 that you'd like to know more about. I'd love to see what you guys have going on, what your thoughts are, and anything I can do to help you guys going forward.